Hi there, thank you for joining me. Long time no see. Today I'm going to share with you my top 5 2020 favorites and appreciations. These are the things in the last 3 months that I've enjoyed or I've appreciated. So if you like videos like this, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share with others. The first 3 months of 2020 started with nothing but head-spinning headlines, whirling the world into a cyclone of pandemic emergencies. The WHO is calling this COVID-19 pandemic the biggest world emergency since World War II. Amid drowning headlines and life-changing government orders, ordinary life still moves on. So finding the life's constancy, I think, is a way to keep my head above the water, not falling into despair. I must admit, I spent a good 2 weeks or so feeling anxious and planning for doomsday. But in the end, I realized watching all these news isn't the most healthy thing. We must take it day by day and do our own part to be socially responsible. Finding the little joys in life amid all these chaos is key to keep calm and move life forward and productive. So here are a few things I like to share with you, what I remind myself to continue being grateful and joyful. First is a scripture from the saying of Jesus Christ in Matthew chapter 6 verse 34. It says, "So never be anxious about the next day, for the next day will have its own anxieties. Each day has enough of its own troubles." Remember to live in the moment and deal with the moment or plan just one day at a time. It's important to keep our minds clear to deal with the matters at hand. This reminds me to set boundaries for the amount of news I watch and read. Also, continue keeping up the routines I've already set for myself, such as personal studies, journaling, chores, reading, cooking, and such, and see what's outside the window. I'll touch upon this later. And also paying attention to the everyday habit, such as washing hands, wear a mask when going out, social distancing, eat well, exercise at home, write down and mark off these little things in a day will help keep the focus on today. The favorite tool for this is, of course, my bullet journal. It really helps me keep focus, my energy one day at a time, and this helps to calm my anxiety. The second thing that I enjoy this quarter is reconnecting with my family and friends. It just so happens that the last 3 months I got reconnected with some longtime friends and some family that I've been distanced in the recent years. So first is in January, my first Bible teacher, whom I met in Taiwan, she contacted us and came for a visit. She currently lives on the West Coast. So I met her before I moved to the US, so this was like a 25-year friendship. The last time I saw her was already 10 years ago. It was really nice that we can just pick up where we left off. She was here on a business trip. She called up only after she got here. My mom and I both studied with her, so we're so happy to see her and find out her recent life and update her on ours. This speaks to true friendship does not separate by time and or distance. The second reconnection is with some relatives. My mom's twin sister, they're both 74 now, really cute. She came up to visit from the south. We had a really good time together. We spent several days and meals over food and chat. I've always been closer to this aunt, but the opportunity came where through her, I also make myself an excuse to reconnect with a relative that lives closer, but we've kind of strayed away in the last few years over maybe some family quarrels and just busy lives that our lives don't really intersect with one another. So with family or relatives, I've come to accept that other people in the family, when they don't get along, it's really between the two of them. While that is unpleasant, I should view the relationship between myself and either of those persons separately and not let the resentment with each other or the resentment between them affect my personal relationship. This is not easy if it relates to my immediate family, and it does. But I find that if I speak with them with respect and discuss mutual topics, I can see how everyone still care about each other despite differences and misunderstanding. So I want to focus on the common ground rather than those differences or past incidences. I think this way it brings more peace and joy and a sense of closure for me. The third reconnection is with one of my best friends. We didn't lose contact because of any personal issue, rather some other sensitive, circumstantial reason. She's recently moved to a better and safer location, so after a year of no contact, I'm just so happy to see her through video chat and get a little update knowing she and her family are safe and hopefully going to be stable for a while. She is another person that lives a world apart and a world of time difference and years of separation. But we managed to stay close friends, and we can always pick up where we left off for the last 15 or near 20 years. The third thing that I really appreciate this quarter is technology for constant supply of spiritual food. Worldwide, I don't know if you guys pay attention, but I'm seeing many news about irresponsible religious leaders hosting large gatherings of people amid the COVID-19 pandemic, defying the government's order for safety of its people. This is very disheartening to see. And I for sure would not want to be associated with those kinds of religious entities. The religious organization I belong to had long been dealing with parts of the world where meetings may be required to be held in small groups or remotely, discreetly. So resources are long being made available for all members through different technologies. Talk about having something remain constant in chaos. My religion has truly served as an anchor to my mental health. My family and friends have not missed one meeting or had to sacrifice quality and frequency of our spiritual food, either through recorded programs or quickly mobilizing everyone on board to use Zoom for our meetings, young and old. We can still gather to be spiritually fed without risking becoming sick. And for sure, seeing the faces of our friends, even engaging in ministry remotely to share messages of hope, has been the utmost encouraging through this first quarter of 2020. The next item I really appreciate is the unexpected mild winter. I really enjoy the super mild or strangely mild winter we had. I am sad for the earth because the unusualness really speaks to the extreme climate change, I believe. But selfishly, I suffer the long winter in the New England. So a mild winter is really refreshing. Not only we had some extreme warm days, such as a 70-degree day in January, we also had very little snow. So if I recall correctly, maybe the lowest snow accumulation of the recent decades. But this means I was able to go out for more walks, and despite time outside, spending time outside way more than usual. That is before the coronavirus hit this region. Therefore, I don't have to feel too bad now that I am not able to go out as much. The next thing is related. The fifth item that I appreciate is the nature. So this kind of relates to the mild winter, but not quite. I am usually aware of appreciating the nature, but time and time again, there is always more awe or opportunity to appreciate it even more. I can appreciate the nature when it's nice and beautiful outside. I can also appreciate the fearsome power of nature when it is destructive. So I've mentioned earlier, with spring coming back, but virus raging on, most of us, if we are wise, should take the advice to stay indoors. But like I said, the nature moves on despite what goes on in the human society. Even though I can't actively participate the outdoor as much as I'd like, I can still look out the window to enjoy the longer daytime sunshine, listen to birds chirping, seeing little green sprouts gradually fuzzing up the bare tree branches. So when I do get to go out for some food shopping, I also take the opportunity to go for a long ride in my car on a sunny day, social distancing in my car for a long ride, driving to a further supermarket. And then I get to enjoy a little bit of breeze when I step in and out between the stores and my car. It is also a good opportunity to explore the nearby areas for maybe a less known quiet spot for a little bit of nature walk while social distancing. I appreciate the April shower brings May flowers saying rain is really nice. But on the other hand, the virus is a part of nature too. I wouldn't like to be outside on a dry, windy day just in case someone sneezed and the droplet end up blowing around and landed on me. So to show the nature my proper respect, I am learning to cope with its temper. So I hope everyone is doing that as well. A wonderful silver lining for this pandemic is the benefit to the nature. With drastic less human activity, the air quality has improved dramatically in many cities across the world. Less transportation may bring consequences to human material supplies, but the ocean and the land animals, they really get a break and get to surface out for some fresh air. There have been multiple sightings of rare to see animals because of less human activities. So this also shows me how much we've scared poor little animals as we constantly expand and encroach into their territory. But God's creations are incredibly resilient. This is an evidence to that. So these are the top 5 things that I've appreciated or grateful of or liked this first quarter of 2020. But I do want to throw in a bonus worthy of mentioning for me, and that is keeping up with my makeup routine. Even staying at home all day on most days, I try to keep up my morning routine, including doing some sort of makeup. Maybe really simple makeup like natural makeup or just even an eyeliner and some blush. Because this again is some little peppy thing to enjoy in the middle of all these bad news. I can at least look somewhat perked up to myself and to my friends. It's a reminder for me that while the government is doing what they can to take care of the public health crisis, I can do my part to keep my physical and mental health better and keep my life moving. Also, having to meet up with my friends over Zoom a few times a week, this also gives me a good excuse to put on my best face and wear a smile. Hopefully this brings encouragement to my friends and to others as well. So, how has the last quarter been for you? Please share the positive little joys and blessings you found and comment down below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this new format. If you enjoy videos like this about what I appreciate and what things I like every quarter, please give it a thumbs up and share with other people. Thank you so much for watching. See you later. Bye bye.